Yeah, I'll tell you this though, social media has taught me to do things different in business. Like if you put together a property package, like I realize now, like from syndicating, like you literally have like 10 seconds to both build trust and interest at the same time. So like those first two pages of a pitch deck, or if you're listing a property, like I put all this stuff in there so it's really captivating.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Carson, who's been making some serious moves in commercial real estate now for about 16 years. Carson, welcome in, man. Glad to
Hey,
have you.
how's it going? You doing all
It's
right?
going well. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm glad to have you today. I think our
Absolutely.
listeners are going to take away something from how you approach your business and the way you've gone about building what you currently have today. So let's dig in there. For those who may not know you yet, what's your main focus right now? What markets you operating in?
Well, I'm based in the Nashville area, but as an investor syndicator, I'm pretty much focused nationwide. I've been doing some industrial down in Texas with new developments, syndicating that. I got as a broker, I'm doing some multifamily here in the Nashville area. I got a $400 million off market portfolio of newly built stuff. Getting into all kinds of stuff, mixed use and all that. So anywhere I can use creativity and make things happen, I try and go. So anyway,
I love that, man. That's what we were talking about a little bit pre-recording, was the creativity part, how that goes into a lot of what you like to do and go about your business. So let's take a step back. What was happening 17 years ago? What led you into real estate and brought you on this journey?
so I did the corporate thing like everybody, and I was in corporate accounting, and then I didn't like it. Like, there's no way around it. About 2007, 2008, right before the great financial crisis, I started a little marketing company, did pretty good, and then I eventually started a restaurant. And I go into like my first lease. This is my book, The Red Flag Playbook, about buying and selling businesses. But I made the same mistake Sam Walton did on signing a lease. Too many percentage increases, personal and liable. It just kind of eroded the business. I later renegotiated the lease, and I talk about that in my book. Um, Business wise, after I got the leases renegotiated, one of them did really well for about 10 years. I sold one of them and it was doing pretty good. Both cash flowed, both had kind of more headaches with the employees. And that's kind of the basis of what steered me into real estate, is being more of the passive investor, um,
Gotcha.
versus, I guess I'm active as a syndicator, but it's not as much work as running a restaurant, not as much babysitting. There's still babysitting in anything you do, but not as much. So anyway,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. There was a quote I heard from what's his name? Graham. He's a golfer, but he owns a restaurant here in Ponte Vedra Beach. But he said, how do you create a small fortune in real estate or in the restaurant business? He said, you start with a big fortune. So it sounds like you did better than him if your
Oh,
restaurant business
man.
was
Yeah,
cash flowing.
that's pretty funny. I've I think I've heard that before, but that's pretty funny.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
It cracked me up because man, you're dealing with, when you start dealing with people's food, that's an interesting spot. I did not own one. One of my first jobs at 16 was at a Red Lobster being a host. And I
Yeah,
just remember just the experience of, wow, look at all these different people you interact with. Look, this is a whole ecosystem unto itself.
yeah. It was eye opener, but it opened the eyes of the reality of business. Not all businesses are the same. Actually, the first business I started, the marketing company I still have today, we operate and it's doing investor marketing for investor companies. So it still does well. So it's just interesting. But the amount of work I put into the restaurant for what I took out was, it was a lot of work. So anyway.
$10 an hour, huh?
Oh, hang on, I was thinking like $3 or $4 an hour in the first few years. Oh, man,
That's
for being
funny.
honest, yeah,
All right. So the restaurant sold. We still got the marketing company, and you're moving
yeah,
into the real estate side. Now you have a unique direction in real estate where you became an investor first and then cranked up a brokerage. Take us
yeah,
through that move.
yeah, I mean, I've been syndicating for quite some time. I've done oil and, oil's a little risky on that side. I kinda stay away from it, and I want everybody to know the risk. I've had good experiences. I've also had really bad, and I'll lay off that one because not all oil deals are bad, but, knowing the risk. But real estate's, provided a lot of income and been a good solid investment. None of my investors have ever lost money on one of my real estate deals. So there's a huge difference between that and an oil deal where some of them
Right.
have, and they weren't real happy with me, even though it wasn't my fault and it's explained risk. But, getting into real estate, I, syndicated a lot of apartment complexes. I've gotten into, industrial and other stuff lately. But getting into the brokerage there's just been a slowdown with interest rates going up as far as the number of deals on the investor side. And there's been a slowdown of deals on the brokerage side. But if I'm able to do both, it's helped me. With on the brokerage side, if I have an investor and they say hypothetically, this isn't about any of my clients, say one has a $5 million building and he sells it and then he's liquid for 1.6 million after that, then I have him as an investor. He doesn't have to invest all of it with me. If he throws $200,000 into one of my deals, it's allowed me to expand my network and who I have as investors on the investor side as well, being a broker. So,
Right.
I'm not, waiting for him on the exit or anything. It just so happens like, hey, if the timing's right, hey, I got an industrial deal down in Texas. You just exited a thing. This is a great place to put it, and it's up to them. So anyway,
Well, and you provide yourself that stability in what's been a weird multifamily market here for a couple of years. A lot of folks I know in there, they haven't bought anything, sat for a long time, just
yeah,
waiting. There was so many
yeah,
deals that weren't penciling where real estate has that factor to it. We all participate in this in its cycles. And a lot of times to create that stability, you have more than one strategy happening.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
No doubt. I mean, it's one of those where you have to get creative when times are slower, and it's been that way. So, I've actually been doing pretty well the last 2 or 3 years. A lot of it's just, good old-fashioned hard work. I don't wanna sound like I'm anybody's dad here, but that's just kinda the truth of the matter. I mean, when you start anything new, whether it's even if you've done 100 apartment complexes, doing one's kinda hard work. So, starting on the brokerage side, it's a lot of work just, okay, you're starting getting a website, working with new people. It's different lingo, looking at things differently than they did. When you're raising capital and syndicating, you're constantly doing activities like social media and a lot of it's just personal branding on steroids.
Mhm.
On the brokerage side, you're going to real more in-person networking, I would say,
Gotcha.
and trying to have more human interaction. So it's kind of allowed for a little bit of balance, in my opinion.
And
So
what have those interactions be able to do for you? How has that networking helped grow your business?
tremendously, both online and in person. I get traveled out, but I did a lot of traveling, probably the October through November area, from Louisville to Miami to, gosh, there's probably 3 or 4 other cities and I can't even remember them. I think I went to Tampa, Atlanta. But yeah, just different networking events, open doors for clients, investors, um, just people to stay in touch with, growing my following, consistency, but a lot of what I've done is really focused on education as far
Mm,
as investors and then, people who are buying and selling properties. Um, if you're going to sell a business or sell a multifamily um, portfolio or a complex, getting your financials in order. That's not that hard, but a lot of owners simply think they can just go print rent rolls and they're going to sell it and they're going to, oh, I'm going to cut the broker out and save on the fees. Let's get this packaged up right. Let's strip out your depreciation and interest. So you're painting a clear picture of your net operating income to the next buyer, so it's an easier decision for them. If you just flop down a bunch of spreadsheets and they're having to dig through it, they're like, "I'm gonna lowball this guy just because he made me sort through the spreadsheets," you
right,
know?
exactly, exactly. You're
Yeah.
setting yourself up to fail right out of the gate, and that's the value of working with someone that's good at their job, especially in the brokerage level, is folks always wanted to I always heard them, "I'm gonna save that brokerage fee," and it was always, "You know how much money you're saving, but you have no idea how much money you're losing by
Oh, yeah.
doing
Oh,
you are."
I don't disagree with you. You're right on that. The other thing is it's just always challenging educating investors. I started doing a newsletter on LinkedIn when, like, the tariff thing came out. And I kinda just went through and I was one of the few people that said they wouldn't cause inflation, and I went through the reasons why with the job cuts and a lot of other deflationary activity was enough to offset it. There's just a lot there, like, people don't understand how complex the economy is. And you even look at, like, a lot of these people you'll see online, say you pull up TikTok and there's a realtor saying, I don't know why houses are moving so slow. And, we're in a situation where the economy's booming, but houses aren't in some markets, depending on the market, they're not all the same, aren't moving. But you have to look at like what we talked about as immigration. If they deported 2 million people and they're deporting another 2 million and there's only 54 million renters, that's 10% of your rent base right there. I
Right.
mean, that's And you look at like, the rental rates with, apartments.com and CoStar.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Those have been down like for the first time in a long time, and you just deported your renters. It's just getting them to open their eyes. I'm not going to be exactly right on everything, but I can point people in the right direction and say, "Hey, why don't we look here?" And there's a lot of fear with people. They're constantly taught to be scared, like, "Oh, inflation's coming." Well, if 35% of CPI is housing and you're deporting that many people, that means there's really not going to be any inflation. Right?
Mm.
Because 35% of it's basically heading down. Then you have energy costs coming down with it. I mean, could there still be inflation? Yeah, but probably not. I mean, they just plant a lot of false fear in you with the media and getting people to, see the bigger picture and all of it. So anyway,
I agree, man. The things that we are talking about on national levels are very complex, and when they're made to be said to where in fourth and fifth grade reading level is how they're saying them on TV,
yeah,
you can only dumb it down. I don't want to say dumb it down. You can only water it down so much until you lose what was actually there and the understanding of
yeah,
how many pieces are in motion at any given time, and how one change over here is going to have an effect on something down here, and you've got to play into it all. And I agree with the fear stuff. And sadly, fear and anger are what social media loves to push out. It gets
I
so
know.
many
Yeah,
eyeballs on it. And it's I love any voice that can even in a stormy time can say, "Hey, take a deep breath here.
yeah.
It's stormy. We've had storms before. We'll solve it. It's not about knowing everything. It's just about learning and adjusting and being open to what's fixing to happen."
The thing that everybody hates about the thing I like is my newsletter, and it's very hard to write a newsletter because you're like, "Oh gosh, I forgot to write it." So I'd suggest if anybody does want to do it once monthly because it's too hard to maintain on a weekly basis. But that's my chance to where on LinkedIn it hits their inbox. So, we're always busy. I got into the selfie post with my books, everybody's fighting for attention. I get it. We're all, in it to be in business. But, my newsletters where I can really like give thoughts and say, "Hey, this is what I think." And people will actually take the time to read it because it hits their inbox. It gets emailed to their, I've built that to, I think I'm over like 2,500 subscribers and I've only had it
Right.
for probably 8 months, you know, but it's just gives me a consistent way to speak my voice because people don't have the attention span to really listen to you on social media. Do you think if I type like some essay on Facebook, people will just be like, "Get out of here," That's too long, you gotta say it in like 10 seconds where it gets discarded, He didn't say it quick enough. So, that's one aspect of social media I do like is my newsletter. So,
Well, and it's
anyway.
finding that way to get above the noise, and that's what
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
that's good at it does, is you find your way to say that message in the way that's how you wanna say it, so you're not sounding like everybody else, and through that medium where, like you said, when you can get that inbox time, we look at our inboxes way differently than we look at our feeds. It's just
Yeah.
the way it is, and learning for your own self where you can get that attention to educate.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though, social media has taught me to do things different in business. Like if you put together a property package, like I realize now, like from syndicating, like you literally have like 10 seconds to both build trust and interest at the same time. So like those first two pages of a pitch deck, or if you're listing a property, like I put all this stuff in there so it's really captivating. Like I say if you put the break even occupancy into, a pitch deck, I've seen like our commitment rate go up like 40%. And it's a small little detail that's just put like, and it's a line this big that says like 67% break even occupancy. And it just builds trust. It shows you your numbers and it says a lot in just that little snippet, and
Right.
you have to have little almost like call outs within there and bolding certain text. And it's just, social media has kind of taught me that aspect to pay attention to a lot of detail, that people's attention span is just different than it used to be. So,
The science behind the communication. There is a
yeah,
method to it of it, understanding the environment it's happening in, and then how to draw attention to particular things. It reminds me, and this is somewhat off subject, but Matt Damon was just doing an interview recently about a Netflix movie that they made, and what he was
yeah,
talking about was how they've actually had to adjust how they make movies on Netflix specifically, because if you don't have that good scene early, people tune out. They're not at the movie theater. They can just
yeah.
switch to the next movie. So they're having to write movies with a heavier impact scene up front, explain the storyline a little faster in the middle, and get to a big scene at the end,
I
which
believe it. That
which
it
used to
it
be a
makes
little
so much
slower.
sense.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Being on the brokerage side, so being on the investor side, it's like you realize that. You understand like, hey, I only have like this much time with them. I have to get my point across. And without being too salesy, people don't like being sold to. But then you go to the brokerage side and they're still kind of stuck in the past on some of the stuff. I'm like, what's with the table of contents? They still put that in like their property packages. I'm like, golly, man, this is like 1984. I'm not trying to put it down, but it's just kind of crazy.
Well,
It's
you see it, and it shows you again, if you're somebody that's staying up to date with what's going on, you'll start to see the holes in what other people are doing, in essence. You'll see,
yeah,
okay, they're and what that sadly can do is, in their own world, it makes you less valuable, especially for
yeah.
newer customers. What do you wanna see? Someone that's keeping up to date with technology, using it well, communicating well, versus, "Here, turn to page 30 based on the table of contents to see
Oh,
that
I
part
know.
you're hoping for."
Yeah, make them jump through hoops.
Yeah,
It's an extra
exactly.
$30 to get to page 30. I'm just make them
Exactly,
make them get their credit card out.
exactly. Does your credit card start with a 4 or a 5, sir? Um,
Oh, man.
well, Carson, man, I've appreciated our time today together. I appreciate your perspective, sharing your story with us about
Yeah,
how you go about what you're doing, and the reasons behind it. I love for people to see that, the unique way that the human side of us comes out in what we do in our business, especially in real estate. I think it's powerful.
absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. I wrote a couple books. One's about real estate investing, one's about buying and selling businesses. And I'm on LinkedIn if people want to get a hold of me. I'm on the other social media sites, but I'm just way less active. So if you want a decent response time, LinkedIn's the best way to get a hold of me. Facebook might take a week. Yeah, but just
And
being
is it
on it.
owns on LinkedIn?
Yep, Carson Jones. Yep. So
Excellent,
anyway,
excellent. Well, if you're
yeah,
listening, we'll make sure that Carson's links are in the show notes. You'll be able to find him there, touch base with him, sign up for that newsletter, start getting that professional information on that market that he's working again. Again, thank you, Carson, for being with us. For everybody listening along, if you got value out of today's episode, please like this episode, share it with somebody else who may get value out of it. As always, don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate every single one of you that are following along out there with us. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Carson, who are out there building a real business in the real estate industry. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.